that, what's up with y'all? What's this all about?
Yeah, so not much. We're always looking to expand because obviously, things that we can do are limited. And initially, we keep it on the DL, but we supply a lot of meths to a lot of different people. I don't want to say have, probably one of the, most number of cooks in the city, within one group, but we're 10 plus all
Oh, damn.
75, and
Oh
I think
shit!
we've got.
uh
I think we've
What
got
you laughing at,
6.
Sly?
I think we got
What you-
6. So we still got some work to do.
yeah, so we're sitting right around 10, and we still got more working their way up, so we're pumping that out. Obviously you guys have your own cooks, but OTT, I know you mentioned you guys don't do runs as much, so really I was coming here to say, maybe we start doing some runs together, and maybe it's a little bit of a split effort here, because we need you to even be able to do something like that. And I think from our end, we'd be willing to supply, not only the meth, but also obviously the manpower when needed.
Question.
Yep.
The runs itself, do you guys do runs at all? Have you done them?
Yeah. So we have a few other people that we do runs with. Obviously, just because we rely on other people, we're trying to expand that. That way we can try to do runs a little bit more consistently.
Yeah.
I think realistically, if we had the ability to, we could be doing 2 to 3 runs a week just with stuff that we're pumping out.
So what do you guys need in order to do a run? You need to be on a gang app, right?
You need to
Or
be
you
on
need-
an app,
Okay.
or you just need, we go down there with you, and you're just in that group with us, doing the run with us.
How much is your payouts, and then all, like, in terms of rep, and then secondly, are you guys in that blue bag shit where it's like suddenly,
So the ones that we're so the rep is only based on the person that starts it. I don't know if you know that. So no saint has an individual rep because we can't start it ourselves. We do it with a few other folks. I think just because the limited times we've done it, I think their payout right now is around 450K, which is right around where you start if you're successful with your first runs, and then it works up from there.
Well, that's
Gotcha.
weird because the one time West started it, we had blue bags, no, and that was
Yeah, that
what
shit was
the first
terrifying.
time.
yeah.
Damn, you guys had blue
squandered,
bags.
squandered the whole thing. It
Yeah.
was my first
Yeah,
meth
it was
run I ever
crazy.
fucking started, and then we just bailed on the whole thing because I had like,
And
tables,
honest
meth,
with
all the
you-
shit in my house.
to be honest with you, the past runs we've done, we didn't succeed at them, so I don't really know how this works.
So, obviously 50 pillows to our friend that, gives us the runs. I'm surprised you guys had blue bags, because generally if you haven't done any runs before, you're the guy starting it. The guy only asks you to go pick up paint thinner, right? He doesn't really ask you to go move anything too crazy, which is why we really wanted to start doing those runs, because the risk is fairly low once you drop off the product. In the
That's right.
actual run
Does anyone
itself,
buy pink cage?
there's really no risk until you get the rep up. That's at least the way that we've noticed it. That's what's happened. I think we've done 4 or 5 runs now. Granted, they've all been with different people, so all of their, rep is individual. I believe.
Okay, I've got a question for you.
Go for it. Go for it.
Say for example, y'all needed to do a run, right? And we said, okay, fine, let's do a run together, right? So say if it's half BSK and half Saints, or say it's 5 Saints and 1 BSK member that's going to just start the run.
Yep.
What would be our cut from that? Would you guys be looking for us to put in 25 of the pillows and then go 50-50? Or are you guys planning to supply the meth, do the run, and then give us a cut from that? Obviously, it wouldn't be a 50-50 because it's all your product, but we would be enabling you to do the run. What were you thinking?
Yeah, so our initial offer, I think, would be similar to what we've done with others, and that is essentially meth cooks put in the pillows. Generally, if we're successful, we pay out about 4K a pillow to the meth cooks. So if you have your own guys throwing in meth, they get paid based on the pillows they put in. After we take out the cut to pay the cooks, everything else just gets divvied up, you know, straight up. If there's 5 of us in there, it gets split 5 ways. If there's 6 of us, it gets split 6 ways. Now, so like as an example,
Yeah, give me an example.
Last
just
run
like
we did. Here, wait. Let me go pull something up. Give you actual numbers.
Sure.
All right. So last run we did was a successful run. Because it was only Saints doing it and we had one extra person, we paid out 5K a pillow just to give our cooks a little bit extra. Generally, we would just do 4K. So what that ended up being was it was a 450K payout at the end of the run.
Yeah.
We did 225K to the cooks. And that left us 225K to split between whoever did the run. So
Gotcha.
whatever that is,
like 50K a piece or something.
Yeah, something like 40-50K a piece. Now,
Okay.
granted, if you've got cooks throwing in and they're doing the run, like me personally, I think I walked away with like 120K from the run because I had my own pillows plus I was in the run.
Gotcha. How many runs do you think you could theoretically do a week?
You give me like a week because I got to take care of some other shit related to meth, part of the Rust, you know, the fucking Rust negotiations. I think if we're all consistently cooking again, Saints alone can pump out between 2 or 3 runs a week. So, you know, 100 to 150 pillows a week just on our side.
What if I did it this way, right? And Sly, you can bump in and tell me, nah, I don't think that's smart. But this is the first thing that came to my mind. And then I'm going to talk to you about meth as a whole and an opportunity where you and I could work together. When I say you and I, as BSK and Saints, on acquiring a lab. We know where the lab is. We know who runs the lab. We know who has the key. We know where the key is to a degree, and it would be a pretty easy taking. And the group that has it, GSF, would be an easy war. We just fucking destroy them. But before I get into that, would you guys be open to us not actually being part of the runs at all? But what I could possibly do is one second.
You're good.
Yeah, well,
I think one of us do have to
All
be
right.
a part of it, though.
Yeah, I will say
of us
one
have to
has
start
to. Whoever starts the run.
No. Listen.
Okay,
listen,
go for it.
So, what I could theoretically propose is you guys pay us $250,000 a week. But with that comes access to our gang app. So we'll put the saint of your choosing on our app so that you guys can go and do a run whenever you want without us. Which means if you don't do a run that week, we still get our $250,000. If you do 2 runs, 1 run, 5 runs, it's still just $250,000. Whether you're successful, you're not successful, you don't need us. You basically pay a flat rate. Not only that, but that person will also have the ability to queue up for banks. So you're gonna be double dipping on both sides.
Yep,
You
extra
pay
credits.
us exactly. You pay. I trust you guys now because like us doing this, we have a lot of stuff that's on our locals. We're taking 1 member off, which, you know, our group is like 35 people within BSK. You know, we already struggle enough to have enough people, so I'd have to figure out who we would take off. But the only thing that I would ask is the person that you would be putting on is somebody that is a regular during EU. So that way we're not losing the ability to have our shit. Now, the one thing that I will say is if somebody goes to take one of our sprays, you are not to interfere. That's just going to be one less person that we'll have to defend our sprays. But essentially, you'll be able to go and start your own. And then if that person, say if this is a great partnership and we do this for 3 weeks, and that person ends up getting to the point where they have blue meth, I will swap out the individual of your choosing with the same criteria so that you can continue, so that it's not blue meth until eventually, you're going to run into, a problem, so to speak. I don't know how you feel about that, Sly, but I feel like we benefit from it because we're going to get $250,000. That way, you guys don't need to pay out any of our cooks. You guys can do a run every fucking day. And let's be real. If we were to do one run together and our cooks are part of it, or we have 1, 2, or 3 BSK there, you're going to end up paying out $200K to $250,000 out of that run regardless. So really, as long as you do one run a week, it's almost breaking even. But the moment you go beyond one extra run, you guys are way more in the profit than what we would ever be, or than what you would have been doing it your old way. So Sly, how do you feel about that? And then Saints, how do you feel about that?
Well, I like the idea, but I still don't find it's enough because think about it. Every time you do a run, there's a 3-day cooldown time. So let's say he starts a run, they complete it or they fail. So another 3 days. That's almost 2 weeks already. Not 2 weeks. That's almost a full week.
It's actually I don't think it's 3 days. I actually think it's a full
7.
week
It's
cooldown
7
now.
days.
It's 5 to 7
7
days.
days?
If you're if you fail the run, you can do a run as many times as you want if you fail it. If you are successful, the person that starts that run that is a successful, I believe it's either a 5 or 7 day cooldown until they can do another run.
So what happens then if we were to, you guys do a successful run, say with Mac, right?
Yep.
And then we take Mac off the app and then we put on somebody else of your choosing so that you can do another run. After 7 days, I can re-add Mac back onto our gang app and swap back and forth. So that way you're guaranteed to essentially get in a minimal of 2 successful runs a week. But then you're also going to have the gang app available to you to queue up for banks at your leisure as well. We're talking Vault, Polito, Fleekas, and any other thing that comes along with being on a gang app.
So like I don't personally know how that all works. Are you able to actually do that consistently, removing and adding members?
I think
Once a week.
it takes
So if
2 weeks, no? Or am I wrong on that? Because we
it's
got
7
told to.
days.
Oh, 7 days, okay.
It was 2, but now it's 7.
Okay.
So if that's the case, I want to say it is because I had just removed a couple of members on BSK and then I was able to re-add them after 7 days. Obviously, if it's 2 weeks, it's probably not going to work out because it's just too long of a window. But I do believe it's 7 days. If it's 7 days, it all kind of works out because you can do 2 runs in 1 week anyway. If you've got a cooldown, so. You'd essentially, if you're getting $450,000 per run, that's $900,000 a week in successful runs. And if you're paying us $250,000, you're still getting 600 and what? What did I say? 900? Yeah. So you're still getting what? 675K, something like that, in total profit a week. Plus, you're on the gang app.
It's something that we'll have to consider. I think the hang up is the 250K a week because realistically, we don't know how much money we'd really be able to make a week, being on the gang app. It's not something that we've ever, obviously.
You hit one bank though, right? You hit one bank, there's $100,000 there. You hit one vault, that's 800,000 to $1 million. You hit one Polito, that's 3 inked. So it's not just the meth runs. This becomes worth it if it's about meth runs and banks. If you guys don't care about banks, then this deal probably is whatever, right? But if it's banks and meth runs, you could be making a lot more than just 900K, assuming that person on the app is the one queuing up for banks on the regular.
No, you're not wrong. I'll tell you this: we're having a little bit of a big get together tomorrow, around this time.
Mm-hmm.
I will bring it up to the larger group and kind of see how they feel about that.
Okay. I just thought I'd
Yeah,
throw it
no,
out
I
there
mean, it's
because
tempting. It's very tempting
bec-
because money's to
the-
be made, and
correct, because the way I look at it is this, guys, is we have a lot of new people and we're pretty deep. And like, if we're gonna do meth runs, with all due respect, like I want to do them with my gang. I don't want to do them with you, and I don't want to share the profits. I don't mind doing it, say, if we were low on meth or you were low on meth and we just wanted to combine forces to get a run in. But if we're gonna do a $450,000 payout and we're gonna take this risk, I'd rather have the reward completely go to BSK than having to split it up. So it's still allowing us to do
excuse me,
this with
I just
you.
gotta.
Let me have a chat with the rest of the boys. Because I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty tempting, right? At the end of the day, it's new grounds, new territory for us. So we'll have a chat with that. And we'll probably get back to you within the next like 24, 48 hours max about that offer. But then yeah, like you said, the combining forces won't hurt. Um, so I think it's a good deal overall. So it's definitely tempting. Let's have a chat with it. But the other thing that kind of sparked my interest was the GSF one. Now, we personally don't have much of an interest in a lab period. But working with you guys and working out a better relationship with, the Kings as a whole is definitely something that is beneficial for both parties, especially the business that me and you, OTT, are involved in with our
Mm-hmm.
good friend.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely something where, we can combine forces and make shit happen. So that GSF shit, if it does happen, we're happy to help with it. But in all seriousness, I don't think any
Well,
of
it
us are
depends,
interested in
right?
the lab.
It depends if we have a lab cook. A lab only makes sense for us, I think, if we also agree to the other part of this OTT being the gang app,
Yep.
because that just means more pillows. If you cook in a lab, you're getting 4 pillows out of that cook. It just means more meth runs
Minimal.
at the end of the day. Yeah.
Minimal. Right. You
So I
can.
think it's all connected. I think if we go with the gang app, we're probably a little bit more likely to want to utilize the lab. I think the open question for you, and I don't have the answer, is do you need to be on a gang app to cook in the lab?
No, you don't. But what I'll do is this: is if we end up working together to get this GSF lab, because you guys have a decent amount of numbers during NA, and so do we. We feel like GSF is only going to use that lab during NA. They're not going to use it during EU. It's too hot. Rust will come after them. Ballas will come after them. We'll come after them. Like, we were about to do a deal with GSF. Like, we were going to work together. We were going to put money into escrow. We were going to have a shared place for the key. We were going to cook. We were going to get their cook to 100 because Sly over here is a genius, and he knows how to get the perfect formulas. And then we were just going to work together to defend it. That deal, Dex was fucking around, and now he found out. We're not going to war or anything, but I think he knows that we're going to end up coming for that lab. I will tell you this: if we end up, and when you speak to your crew, and you can mention the lab, if we end up working together to get this lab, so for example, say we have 3 awake during NA, you guys have 3 awake, we get in a car together, and we know that they're cooking, and we take it down together, or if you guys are interested in being part of that, then I will put you on our gang app for free. There'll be no 250K a week. We'll put on whoever you want. You can still go do your meth runs. You'll have the bank access, and there'll be no money on the top. So it's basically like saving $250,000 a week, having all of that as long as we control the lab. And on top of that, all of the meth that we cook that you guys get, you guys will get it at cost. So if we're printing out 4 or 5 meth per cook, and say you guys wanted to do a run, I mean, boys, the run would cost you fucking dirt cheap. One paint thinner is getting you 4 or 5 things of meth, opposed to what you're normally doing.
You're not wrong. No, I mean that's actually a very compelling offer. Obviously not right away. You guys control the lab, say it gets done. down the line, do you think there's an opportunity for those of us that are level 4 cooks to also be able to cook there?
Of course.
Okay.
But you'd have to be with BSK. We
Of
would
course,
not
of course,
be,
of course.
we would not, we're not just going to let you take the key and then go and do it. These are all hypotheticals, right?
Yeah, no, of course, of
at
course.
the end of the day.
Yeah,
I'm an
being the
easy guy to
position of
work
you
with.
guys. Or
Yeah,
position.
yeah. I'd be down to work with you guys in any way, shape, or form that we can, but we just have to find the right avenue in which we can do it. That's all. And maybe none of this works out, and that's totally fine. And all is well.
No, I agree. I think we'll leave it at, we're going to have a conversation tomorrow with the vast majority of our boys. We'll see kind of how they're all feeling. And let's say we'll connect again either tomorrow or what's today, Friday? Either tomorrow or Sunday. We'll connect and we'll have an answer for you either way.